you see right behind me is Frisco 4524.
Frisco 4524 was built by Baldwin in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1943 and is the 697 40th steam locomotive built by that factory and is a 484 Northern type steam locomotive and is a 4500 class steam locomotive. Frisco 4524 was once intended for freight service on the Frisco Railroad, which is short for St. Louis San Francisco Railroad. Frisco 4524 was one of the last 10 of the group delivered in 1943, numbered from 4515 to 4524. Also is coal burners and were built with trailing truck boosters that were soon retrofitted to earlier engines, and this one was the last steam engine built for the Frisco. Frisco 4524 and several other 4500s were built in 1952 and then stored behind the Linwood Roundhouse in St. Louis, Missouri until they were either scrapped or donated for display. And Frisco 4524 was donated to Springfield, Missouri in 1953 by the Frisco and put on display at the Railroad Historical Museum in Grant Beach Park, where it is today. As the locomotive made its way to the museum in the fall of 1953, the locomotive was moved with a diesel locomotive, and 24 railroads were assigned to get the project done. Also, the crews cut into the West Belt Railroad line near the stockyards and put in a temporary switch to get the locomotive off the Frisco when the crew had to work fast to do their best not to hold up the train traffic. The locomotive got powered by compressed air forced into the boiler and cylinders pumped in with a portable air compressor, and the plan was ready to roll. The locomotive laid down temporary tracks lay down in the middle of Calhoun Street, and workers would place in 105 feet of tracks in front of the engine and move it slowly forward, then take one section of track, as this was the leapfrogging the loco, and would be repeated over and over, block by block. Then operation had to cross back over the West Belt track at Calhoun, and everything had to come to a halt and let railroad traffic come through the crossing with a freight train bound for downtown. Then the work continued and the locomotive made the rest of its way to the destination. There was one incident on the way for the engine's front wheels jumping a track on a curve that was laid too tightly, and took half a day's work to get the locomotive back on track. Frisco thought it was a 4 to 5 day job, but it took at least 10 days. But then 4524 finally made her way to Grant Beach Park as her last journey was over. From the 1950s to onward, the locomotive sat in the elements, and also it was rusty, and also it was vandalized as it was spray painted, and some parts were stolen and glass was broken. Then by the 1990s, the city saw the loco rusting and didn't go to scrap and was saved, and one waged by dedicated volunteers with a museum. Also, in the spring of 2011, the locomotive got a cosmetic restoration that lasted a number of years till it was completed with a gutter put out, and a gutter was put over the locomotive as well. Also, Frisco 4524 is one of 4 surviving Frisco 484s left in the world today, and 4524 can be found here at the Railroad Historical Museum in Springfield, Missouri, where it is on display today. And also, you can even visit the locomotive's cabin, sit where the engineer and fireman used to sit, and even ring the locomotive's bell, but the cord could be pulled from beside the locomotive. And you'll also see there's a pneumatic whistle that you could blow as well.